Good evening, folks. It's Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the assembly plot for mayor. We'll discuss the race for assemblyman between Nader Sage and Mike Breen, as well as the plot for mayor. What is this all really about? Good evening. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the assembly plot for mayor. I will be discussing Mike Breen challenging Assemblyman Nader Sage for District 90 for the assemblyman. Thank you for joining me. If you're joining me, good evening, good morning. If you're joining me tomorrow, good afternoon, or whatever time you're joining me. I'm Freddie Vasquez. The Yonkers Tribune, once again, is at it again. This stems from an article that I read. Actually, someone was enlightened me to the article. It was written 3 days ago. The Yonkers Tribune, as of late, has been a tool. I've spoken about this in prior podcasts for certain individuals to target political adversaries. Political adversaries of who? The wizard that has positioned himself behind the veil, exposing himself only in very rare occasions to show support for one of his prized stallions. Like a good boy looking for daddy's approval, editor-in-chief of the Tribune sets his sights and begins the literary assault of anyone that needs to be taken out, right? This election cycle is no different except for the target, right? If you've been paying attention, been reading the Tribune, you're starting to see who is the target. If you have been reading, again, the Tribune lately, the target of Hezi has been the council member from the 5th District, Mike Breen. First, it was the Quid Quo Pro article where it attempts to call out Mr. Breen and wife Patty for milking the city and making demands for a job in the event Mike Breen were to lose to the incumbent Nader Sage. But what's been the Tribune's recent fascination with the Breen team? Why reach for straws on another bogus Quid Quo Pro allegation when there is plenty of evidence and quite possibly it's plenty of evidence to suggest that other council members could quite possibly not only be involved in quid quo pro situations, but could also be breaking campaign finance laws and even possibly money laundering. Yet the Tribune, knowing this information, I'm sure, has written nothing about it to date. 3 days ago, the Times Tribune, I should say, released another article about Councilman Breen, alleging that Breen's March 26th bagels with Breen was in violation of election laws as he was giving away bagels in return for voters to sign his petition. Again, this is selective reporting by Hezi. He does not say much in the article aside from listing the election laws he says were violated. Hey, Hezi, they all do it, right? They all do it. I mean, remember the signs that were posted up everywhere on mailboxes, on trees, all along South Broadway? And how many times have elected officials, or I should say, and candidates, those seeking to become elected officials, have done stuff like this? They give out food, they give out bags of goodies, and have you sign a petition while you're there, sometimes even asking you to change parties. That's right. And they do these fake bogus voter registration drives where they use them to campaign and promote themselves while using city and taxpayer money to provide security from police officers and other resources. It's been all done. All of them. Every single one of them. Has he? Every single one. So why is the Yonkers Tribune picking on Mike Breen? Because essentially, that's what Hezi's doing. He's targeting Breen on behalf of the Wizard of Thornwood. Hezi's basically the media propaganda machine for Precision Strategies. That's right. That's in my opinion. Precision Strategies is owned by Zahi Jeris, the campaign management firm, who, along with son Frankie, manage campaign candidates such as the man himself, Nader. And Mr. Jeris is also behind current judge who's running to hold on to the seat, Ada Medina. Mr. Jeris is praying that Nader becomes the next mayor of Yonkers. And he sees the next year or so as an opportunity to take complete control of the mayor's position, politics here in Yonkers, and ultimately take control of the city of Yonkers. Take a look at the Tribune. Start there. Who is written about negatively and who is written about positively? So far, Nader's been written about, and so has Judge Ada Medina, but both in a positive light. Nothing negative about them. Promo ads, campaign ads, right? But Mike Breen has been mentioned about negatively. Why is that? Zahi Jeris, again, is behind Nader Sage's campaign. He needs him to win. A loss for Nader is very bad. It's very bad. And when he wants to run for mayor, which he does, it's very well known, it's going to be that much harder. The personal attacks towards his wife, Mike Breen's wife, and children bear the hallmark of Zahi Jeris, the man many believe, if not know, is the person responsible for the political assassination of Mike Cater. He, along with council members in his pocket and members of the Republican Party, a party he once chaired, colluded to get Cater out of politics. Now there's a new plot, and it's beginning to thicken. So why should you vote for, or who should you vote for? All right, according to many, it's the lesser of two evils. What has Nader done in his tenure as assemblyman? What exactly? One of the most recent and biggest upset among his supporters was his reversal on the religious exemptions for all vaccines. Those who are, strong in their faith and their belief, who apply for religious exemptions, can no longer do so in New York thanks to Nader Sage. And I want to just share something with you here in regards to that. Someone put this article up, and I thought it was interesting, and I wanted to share it. Where'd it go? Okay. Brother of criminal drug pusher. Let me share that. Where is that? Why is it not showing up here? Anyway, I don't know why it's not showing up, but I will share that. Oh, here it goes. Can you see that there? It says brother of criminal drug pusher, New York State Assemblyman Sage becomes drug pusher himself. This is a 2019 article by Teresa Riley. Less than a year ago, Dr. Nadeem Sage, along with 4 other doctors, was arrested for illegally prescribing and distributing millions of oxycodone pills in exchange for money and lavish gifts. He was a doctor, a person one goes to for help, a man who took an oath to first and foremost do no harm. Instead, he created harm. He could have done the right thing, but he didn't. Instead, he contributed to the opioid crisis and ruined people's lives. And for what? Money and gifts? Fast forward to less than a year later, and we have his brother, New York State Assemblyman Nader Sage, doing a similar version of the same thing, but this time through legislation. Nader was in the unique position to be a veritable hero. Veritable. I'm sorry. Some words I just can't pronounce. He could have saved the day for millions of kids, but he didn't. But he opted out of that. Apparently, the lure of drugs, money, and gifts is just a bit too much to turn down. On Thursday, June 13th, 2019, Sage voted no in the Health Committee on bill which would take away the religious rights to millions of New York children and would force them to get drugs injected into their system against their will. These are drugs which cause cancer, encephalitis, autism, debilitating diseases, and in the worst cases, death. This no vote would have killed the bill right there. Voting no was the right thing to do, and he did it for a minute, but that was just a bit too much for him to handle because he caved into pressure from New York State Assembly Speaker Carl Hesty. I don't know. In less than 1 minute, history was changed. What did Carl whisper into Nader's ear that made him cast his vote for the unnecessary destruction of family across New York State? Nader Sage could have saved these children, but he didn't. This moment in history will signal a death knell for children across America. With mothers sobbing in the room, Nader Sage had this chance to save them, but he didn't. It appears that members of New York State legislation are under payroll of Big Pharma. What other reason could it possibly be? In an official statement from the CDC admitted that unvaccinated children were not among the measles outbreak, which supposedly triggered the dire need for this bill. More than half of approximately 58% of the cases in New York State outside of New York City have been children too young to attend school. as well as adults age 19 plus who are no longer in school. Religious exemptions do not apply in these situations. Perhaps Nader is looking to one up his brother in the drug dealing business, but this time legally, literally. And it goes on there, and I won't go on, but that's a tough there article there about Nader Sage. Yeah, that's right. His brother was convicted of prescribing oxycodone to people for money gifts. That's a very horrible thing to do because that's been a big epidemic here. Lots of people have died, including my sister. That's right. My sister passed away from a drug overdose. She was addicted to Oxycontin prescription pain pills when she was in the hospital after a bad accident. She was airlifted to a hospital and spent months. And they prescribed her these pain pills, and she left with addiction. And then there were doctors like this, Nadeem Sage, who were willing to prescribe individuals who were addicted with more drugs. The problem is that when they get arrested, they cut off the supply. And when the supply is cut off, they turn to harder drugs like heroin or to fake drugs thinking they're real, and that's how they end up overdosing. And that's been a big problem here in the city of Yonkers, one that they have not wanted to talk about much, but that's a huge problem here. It's killed teenagers here in the city of Yonkers, along with adults, and it's something we're not talking about. And Nader Sage, if his brother was involved in this, you would think that he would be doing more for those addicted to drugs, particularly because a lot of them are young. Was that a deal he made to get his brother out of jail early? I mean, serving 8 months. Do you understand the harm and the tragedy and devastation that causes to families? I'm it's, I've experienced this. I'm a victim of that myself, so I have no sympathy for the man. No sympathy whatsoever. You're destroying people's lives for money so you can enrich yourselves and drive your Mercedes Benzes, huh? And then become elected officials. Shame on you, and you should still be in jail. He also recently introduced a bill that would make it a law to accept refugees anywhere from anywhere in the world, here in New York, anywhere in New York, and they could not be denied whatsoever. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm not sure if that's the answer. I'm not saying that we shouldn't help people, but God knows New York City and New York State in general, and the city of Yonkers are in need of help now. And there are people here who are living through a housing crisis, which are getting no support. So, I mean, that's just another thing that he recently introduced. So what is this really about? What is all this really about? What is this attacking Mike Breen all about, right? Because it's not like I'm super Breen fan. I'm not a super Breen fan, and I'm not, a super against Breen either. I just tell it like it is. I keep it fair and balanced, unbiased, unfiltered. This is all about the mayor's seat. Everybody wants the mayor's seat. Every single one of these elected officials has their eye on the mayor's seat. They could care less about what's happening right now. They can care less. What they want is the mayor's seat. It's an opportunity because the old establishment is slowly losing its grip. And people are seeing that, and they're seeing an opportunity here to take over as they want, as they believe they're going to do, take over, whether it be the Democratic Party, particularly the Democratic Party, and also take over the seat, the mayor's seat, and take control of Yonkers. Zahi Jeris has Nader Sage. That's his number one horse. He has to get everyone else out the way. That's why he gave me the information on John Rubo. Yes, right, John. John, believe me when I tell you this. That was Zahi Jeris that told me about a perfect solution. Your company. You also mentioned that was your way of bypassing campaign finance laws to accept more money from AMS in particular. That's right. That's what the text message said. That was the text message that I also, the number that I also received, the article regarding James Kavanaugh and Kimball Wilson and their shenanigans over at the Battery Park Authority. That's right. He sent me that, in my opinion, and I have to say that according to my lawyer, in my opinion. And why? Because those two individuals, Wilson Kimball and John Rubo, are on the list of potential mayoral candidates. And Zahi will stop at nothing to make sure that Nader is the guy that people vote for come next year. What does Breen have to lose? Breen is simply in there to cause Nader to spend money, give him a hard time, and quite possibly take his seat. Because if he does, then that will make it an uphill battle for Nader when it comes to the mayor's seat. But also, even if Nader wins, he won't win by a lot, sources say, or people are speculating, which won't make him look good either. He's been having it easy past few elections. No one's been challenging him because that's the way it goes here. You're promised that no one will challenge you, and that's exactly what will happen. Mike Breen loses, he finishes out his term, and he may run for mayor, but I doubt it. He knows he has no chance. If Mike Breen enters the race for mayor, it's simply to split the vote. Republicans, be careful. Mike Breen is not, and did I say Mike Cater? I meant to say Breen. Mike Breen is not a real Republican. Anyway, at least he's not on your side all the way Republican. So be careful. You young Republicans, O'Rourke, do you know about this? Do you know about that? Are you in on it also? Are you a fake Republican also? Working on the Democratic side with Zahi Jarrett because he was the chair of the Republicans. So he has connections to the Republicans. That's how he took down Mike Cater, utilizing the council members in his pocket along with Republican connections like Liam McLaughlin. Why do you think Patty, according to the Yonkers Tribune, was demanding a job in the event that Mike Breen loses? She knows he's going to lose. That's why she's demanding that job, because she knows that he's doing someone a favor. It's a battle going on here, folks, in the city of Yonkers. It's a political war. People want the position for mayor because that is the king. That is the seat of the king. That is the throne here in the city of Yonkers. And everyone is going to be fighting for it. Just wait. This isn't nothing here. This election is nothing. Wait till next year. And that's what this is all about. So, Rubo, I don't know how good of friends you are with Zahi, but best believe he's the one that told me about that. And Wilson, I don't know if he's your friend too, but you guys did work together on the city council race. But I guess sometimes, enemies come together for a common cause, but there is no honor among thieves. What does he have up his sleeve? We shall soon find out. But that's what this is all about, folks. That's right. It's not about you. It's not about the people of Yonkers. It's not about doing right by them. It's about controlling the mayor's seat, because then you control what happens in Yonkers. You have access to the slush funds. You have access to the pay-to-play games. Pay-to-play games, I should say. That's right. That's what it's all about. I'm sorry to bust your bubble if you think anyone's here really doing something for you. But it's time for that to change. And so it depends on you folks, the voters of the city of Yonkers. You want me to keep it real with you? I am. That's exactly what's happening. You think otherwise? Prove me wrong. Comment. Show me otherwise. I've yet to have anyone come and correct me on anything major. Maybe a date, maybe a name, maybe a relationship. Sorry, brother, not sister. Wife, not sister. But anything I said to this effect, no one, because it is the truth. So, folks, it's important that you go out there and vote and you understand who it is that you're voting for. Don't just keep voting for people because they've been there forever. And who is the lesser of the two evils between Mike Breen and Nader Sayegh? I would vote for Breen, and I'll tell you why. Because that will stop Zahi's mission of taking over Yonkers politics. But then when it comes to the mayor, we need somebody completely new. No one should be voted in that has been in Yonkers politics or even in Westchester politics. Absolutely not. That won't be smart, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. That is my podcast for tonight. Been trying to keep them short and just get straight to the point. Mike Breen, you owe me. You should pay me. I've been helping you out, buddy. I have been. You know what I mean? Make the check out to Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics, P.O. Box 123456. Okay, Mikey? I've been helping you. Don't be mean to me. Be nice. Talk to me nice, Mike. Talk to me nice. So, folks, I will be on tomorrow. We'll discuss the city council meeting if it's important, if it's interesting, if they say anything worthwhile. Do they ever? Yeah. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics, Unfiltered. Watch out for that guy, Zay, man. He's all in the mix. Be careful. And if you need the permits, go check them out. That's what I hear in the streets. Word on the street is you need permits, $2,500. We'll get them for you real quick. Anyway, folks, I'm still doing my investigation into Macy's, Municipal Housing Authority of City of Yonkers. I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's find out what's going on there. These guys making money off city funds here, state and federal funds, investors, private investors. What's going on here? I'm going to break it all down. I'm still digging. I just want to present it right. So I'm getting all the information. I'm locating the properties. Wow. Latidos Unidos. Shout out to them. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me tonight, folks. I appreciate it. This was the plot, the assembly plot for mayor. Nader Sage wants the mayor seat because he's going to be a puppet for Zahi Jeris. But they want Rubo, so Zahi's going to make sure that Rubo does not get in there by giving me damaging information on Rubo. I would imagine that if they were to look into that perfect solution, they might find something there. Who's going to look into that? Zahi gave me that information, John. That's horrible, isn't it? Thought you guys were cool. Not friends no more? Not anymore. John, not anymore. Watch your back. All of you guys, watch your backs. Watch your backs. Dangerous out there in politics. I mean... Look how beautiful Yonkers looks. Look at all that development they're doing, folks. Who's making all that money? Look at all that. John, watch your back, man. Say any more info on John? Send it my way, baby. Send it my way, baby. Wilson Kimball, watch your back. Zahi trying to take you out, in my opinion. He's sending me that information. I didn't know about that Battery Park stuff and the Love's Nest and all that. I didn't know nothing about that. So I got the text message. James, I didn't know, James. And they told me about the house in Rhode Island. You guys got all them houses in Florida and all that, man? I didn't know. They told me about the house in Rhode Island. Nice? Still got it? Made you put your name on it, right? Yeah, and once you get married, put your name on that house because you never know when you're going to get divorced. I've seen that go left too many times, all right? Nader, why you do that to the folks? What did she whisper in your ear, Nader? What did the speaker whisper in your ear, Nader? What made you change your vote? Huh? People were disappointed. Parents were crying, and you just did it in front of them? Horrible. Mike Breen, you got my vote, Mike. Mike, you got my vote, Mike. You got my vote, Mike. You guys are crazy. He is a spineless snake with a big head, no neck. Who's that? Watch your back, Rubo. No, I'm serious. I'm not even lying, Rubo. Watch your back. They try to take out Rubo. He wants to take everybody out that has the potential to run for mayor. It's all about taking over. Vote for someone that has not been in Yonkers politics. That is the key, folks, to saving the city. I'm out of here. Thank you, folks, for joining me. Yeah, that's right.